Yo, what's going on, y'all? OCO. This is Red Hawk Adohi. Yeah, just coming at y'all with this third episode of the Eumelanin series. Yeah, I was trying to drop it yesterday. I got a little busy, so here it is today. Hope y'all having a good day and hope y'all enjoying this series. And another thing too, y'all, say right quick. Be on the lookout for another episode of Sidewalk Dudes, third episode. I'm working on it. So I just want to let y'all know that. Just be on the lookout for that because that series came out before this series right here. So just be on the lookout for Sidewalk Dudes episode 3. And I'll get it to you guys as soon as possible. Excuse me. But I'll get it to you guys as soon as possible. But hope y'all enjoying this series. The your Melanin series and this book right here. If you guys don't have it, purchase this book right here. Good book with some good information about so-called black people, so-called African Americans, who are really copper color people. Where copper color were not black, but like I said, I'm just reading information from this book by Dr. Llaila Afrika. It's some good information about the melanin within our system, which is our melanin is called neuromelanin, but it's also called Eumelanin. It's just, has a lot of good information about who we are on a genetic and DNA level. And this book is entitled Melanin, What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Llaila Afrika. So I'm reading the third chapter, which is called Melanin, the Hormones. So here we go. And this is on page 16, chapter 3, Melanin Hormones, page 16 from the book Melanin, What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Llaila Afrika. Okay, so it says the pineal gland makes alkaloids. An alkaloid is an organic means contains carbon substance that reacts to salts. A salt in chemistry is a chemical compound that is created when an acid and alkaline substance interact. A salt has a positive charge electrical element other than hydroxyl, commonly called acid, because the alkaloids react to salt that uses them. Salts are used in the body to maintain stable nerves, water balance, regulate the blood volume, are essential for digestion enzymes, hormones, control thickness of the blood, coagulation, pressure inside cells, osmotic, respiratory pigments, and acid-base balance. This means that melanin hormones are the primary controller of human life itself. The salts referred to are not table salt, chemically known as the poison sodium chloride. Chloride is a type of bleach, but the salt of sulfates, phosphates, chloride, carbonates, bicarbonates, which are combined with calcium, magnesium, and potassium. The alkaloid serotonin hormone is stimulated by sunlight and full spectrum artificial light. It is secreted into the blood during daylight hours. Serotonin connects to other substances, polymerize, and forms into melanin. It causes muscles to contract, blood vessels to constrict, regulates blood pressure, and the ability to alter consciousness and provides other realities. Consequently, the heightened ability to create spontaneously improvise is a characteristic of black people's music, i.e., jazz, dance, acting, dress styles, hairstyles, language usage, inventions, science, art, and culture. The alkaloid melatonin is made by the pineal gland. It is secreted into the blood after sunset, and reaches its highest levels around 10 p.m. This alkaloid connects to other substances, polymerizes, and forms melanin. It helps maintain, repair, and build brain and nerve tissue. Consequently, it is good for all brain and nerve damage, diseases such as lupus, Alzheimer's, attention deficit, a form of sterility, Parkinson's, sterility, memory loss, numbness, and tingling of nerves. Melanin synchronizes body functions, helps to maintain the circadian rhythm, stimulates secretion of milk and contractions of the uterus, triggers puberty, increases electrical brainwave activity, regulates blood pressure, induces sleep, stimulates improvising, and gives a positive effect on emotions and creates a feeling of well-being and joy. The alkaloids serotonin and melatonin contain a similar structure as other alkaloids. It is the aromatic benzene structure and amino groups that causes the melanin hormones to easily chemically merge with dangerous drugs such as crack, Ritalin, cocaine, caffeine, codeine, morphine, mescaline, etc. Black people with their higher melanin content are twice as addicted to synthetic drugs than other races. White domination, which uses the myth of white supremacy defended by white racism, have created and maintained the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, global, social, and cultural oppression of black people. This causes black people to take drugs, use sex, violence, white sugar, gambling, and abuse of each other to emotionally and psychologically escape the oppressive condition. A social condition created by white domination that causes black people to socially, emotionally, and physically kill themselves is by definition genocide. The drugs kill and have an effect on the mind and the physical body of black people, which means they act upon melanin. The drugs are anti-melanin and against black culture. The many substances which are made from melanin are good in the correct concentration, i.e. alkaloids and ratios. Okay, let me see. It says alkaloids are organic nitrogen substances which are destructive, corrosive, metallic, hydroxides, ammonium carbonates. When alkaloids are made by the human body, they are not harmful because they are the correct proportion of concentrations. The pineal gland makes the unharmful alkaloid serotonin and melatonin. Aside from this, the body makes many toxic chemicals at the correct unharmful concentrations such as alcohol, ammonia, bleach, hydraulic acid, lye, sulfuric acid, etc. However, when synthetic man-made chemicals are consumed, they bond and incorporate themselves into melanin and generate harmful chemical species that can attack the body at any given moment. This attack can be stimulated by normal body activity as well as negative emotions and social activities. Melanin dominates black people are highly susceptible to these attacks because they consume synthetic chemicalized junk foods, beverages, drugs, and cosmetics. These chemical reactions are related to melanin dominant black people who do not know they have studied melanin. Melanin is studied in chemistry, which is the study of keen black melanin particles called protons, electrons, neutrons, and solitons. However, the word melanin is never mentioned in European Greek chemistry. Melanin is studied in biology because the purplish melanated brain of the cell called the nucleus is studied. However, the word melanin is never mentioned. Melanin is the chemical key to life and the brain's nucleus of all cells. In order for information to be transported to the brain, it must be in a liquid form. You see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and feel life with your brain, melanin. Therefore, what eyes see, ears hear, tongues taste, and nose smells, these sensations are converted into a liquid in order to get to the brain. The chemical of conversion or change is melanin. It allows you to be in contact with your inner body and allows your body to be in contact with life itself. The black race has the highest amount of melanin and has the highest contact with inner life, emotions, spiritual, subconscious, sublime, and extrasensory life. Melanin comes in many varieties, and has multiple functional properties. A synthetic drug alters the functional properties of melanin. A synthetic drug that does not act upon melanin is not a drug. A synthetic drug must speed up, slow down, stop, or either destroy melanin to be a drug. Any of the body's natural chemical substances or symbiotic virus, bacteria, or flora that is outside its range of positive usefulness in the body is unuseful. When it is labeled an unuseful, it is given names such as free radical, toxin, harmful, parasite, worms, and bacterial, viral, fungus, and yeast infection. The body's natural chemical substances, bacteria, virus, fungus, and yeast can become out of positive usefulness from taking anti-melanin synthetic chemicals, drugs, processed and chemicalized junk foods, negative emotions and behaviors, and a polluted physical and social environment. Melanin acts and reacts upon chemicals. Melanin has a free radical behavior. It will attack harmful synthetic chemicals, i.e., preservatives, food additives, drugs, cocaine, crack, Viagra, caffeine, and attach to them in an attempt to transport them elsewhere, or neutralize them. The harmful chemical incorporates into the structure of melanin. Yeah, this word right here is COPOLYMERIZE. The harmful chemical and melanin become one molecule. This combined melanin and the harmful chemical molecule is large throughout the body. Emotional stress, disease, physical stressors, junk food, cell phone, and computer radiation and drugs can cause the release of this combined melanin and harmful chemical molecule into the blood and into interactions with other chemicals, hormones, minerals, and nutrients. The combined melanin and harmful chemical accumulates in the body and can cause a toxic overdose. It can break down. This word right here says DEPOLYMERIZE, or reincorporate. This word again that I read before is POLYMERIZE. Black people's cells have the highest melanin content. And this right here, people, guys, it's not. I just want to say this part of the book, what I just read, is not like we trying to brag or boast, because I don't walk around bragging like, oh, I'm better than everybody, this and that. But this book is just telling the truth. So I'm not trying to offend no other ethnic group of people. It's just the truth. I do believe we're supposed to be humble and still walk with confidence and be humble as well. But No, the facts are just the facts. We have a superior kind of DNA structure within us, and that's one of the reasons why we influence the world. It's just facts. And I'm just, and one of my reasons for reading from this book is just so we can know the truth as a people, and I can put out the information, share it with y'all. But also, I wanted to just read the truth because we got to know the truth. We just got to know. It is what it is. So it says, black people's cells have the highest melanin content. Cells build tissue, and tissues make organs. Organs make organ systems, and organ systems constitute the body. The cell has an outer skin membrane. The cell membrane has a bone-type structure called microfilament. Microfilaments, microtubes, cytoskeleton, and hair-like antenna. The antenna senses the liquid environment outside the cell extracellular matrix. Melanin is the chemical that converts information outside and inside the cell. Liquid information such as nutrients, red blood cells, white blood cells, fats, enzymes, proteins, and hormones need to be constantly read by the melanin. The melanin is the body's computer in a liquid form. It breaks down substances into small units. And this word right here is DEPOLYMERAZATIONS, and builds small units into larger substances. This other word is POLYMERIZATIONS. The information data travels on the neurological information highway, reticular formation, and is put on a monitoring screen of the brain. Melanin reticular formation, and is read by the brain's frontal cortex. That's amazing. Information comes from the nerves to the spinal cord, to the top of the brain stem, to the medulla oblongata, to the pods, to the cerebellum, to the cerebrum. The information highway can have traffic jams, blocks, and detours caused by synthetic drugs, junk foods, toxic emotions, feelings, and spiritual distortions. The information highway neurological pathway problems can create a black person that is culturally homeless and seeking to serve European culture. Melanin has effects upon black people's social behavior and has an effect inside the body. Melanin is highly concentrated in the gastrointestinal tract of the digestive system, vagina, uterus, penis, sperm storage sac, seminal vesicle, ear, auditory nerves, eye, retina, iris, nervous system, etc. The synthetic drugs enter into the bloodstream and are carried all over the body. They are absorbed and interact with melanin in various local areas. These drugs combine polymerizes and form different chemicals similar to hybridizing the cells. The cells in local areas resonate or readjust to the synthetic chemical. This creates a type of freak cell similar to genetic modification invaders of the cell. The end result of this biological warfare done by synthetic social drugs and prescription drugs, has not been calculated. Black people using illegal crack and legal caffeine, alcohol, nicotine drugs are a walking environment with unknown results. It is not a matter of if black people will get sick and manifest more physical, mental, and spiritual diseases. It is a matter of when they will get sick. Parents that eat junk foods and consume drugs will birth chemically altered children. The main example of the destruction caused by synthetic drugs are the female's eggs. For example, an adult woman that is pregnant with a girl can damage the girl's eggs. A pregnant woman taking drugs, marijuana, and or alcohol, their immune system can fight the physiological effect. Despite the immune system's attempt to protect itself from the drug, the pregnant woman will get high. The baby girl that she is pregnant with can fight the effect of the drug. However, the unborn baby girl will get high. All unborn girls have all the eggs they will ever have before they are born. Unborn girls do not grow eggs after they are born. They are born with their lifetime supply. The unborn girl's eggs have no immune system. The synthetic drugs have a different effect on her eggs. The melanin in the eggs and ovaries connects to the drugs, polymerizes, forming a type of mental, physical, and spiritual genetic alteration. Simply put, the pregnant woman is chemically cloning a black person. The man's sperm has no immune system, and the synthetic drugs have a polymerizing effect on it. The man's sperm becomes an altered sperm, and in many ways becomes a freak sperm looking for a chemicalized freak egg that will birth freak children searching for white supremacy to serve and worship. Melanin's healthy impact upon black people is good, and melanin that is altered or damaged has a bad effect upon black people. Yeah, y'all. So this really showing that we need to stay away from drugs, unprocessed foods and all that stuff. A black person's emotions and behaviors can be anti-melanin by adopting Caucasian culture as their primary or only culture. African culture adultery is anti-melanin and is typical of black people that have no African cultural practices and seek or maintain ways to serve or entertain Caucasians, practice Caucasian types of relationships and sex. They eat Caucasian processed chemicalized junk foods. Anti-melanin black people have a lifestyle that allows them to be off their cultural whole foods, unprocessed diet, which means they are off their culture. They are anti-melanin and out of their culture, out of their natural whole food diet, and essentially out of their mind and into the Caucasian mind. Negative anti-melanin thought states of consciousness, moods, as well as synthetic drugs cause electrons, minerals with an electrical charge in melanin to go from a stable state to an excited, unstable state. This results in DNA genetic damage and abnormal physiological states and physical illnesses. The negative, unstable, excited melanin state can cause toxic chemicals species that may result in the destruction of melanin and physical diseases. Melanin attaches to synthetic chemicals as a way to grab them and eject them out of the system. That's amazing. You see how our bodies work, how our body works, and how we're created, on a genetic level. However, the continuous consumption of the synthetic chemicals oversaturates and spills the chemical into the bloodstream, harming everything with the high melanin content, i.e. brain, sex organs, digestion. In fact, synthetic chemicals eaten get absorbed by the melanin in the digestive system. They go to the brain and sex organs. The digestive system dumps synthetic chemicals from the intestines into the liver and circulate in the blood. Synthetic chemicals decrease the liver's immune response, storage of nutrients, and absorption of nutrients such as Yeah, this word is Tryptophan. The amino acid tryptophan converts into serotonin, which changes into melatonin. During the day, serotonin increases, while at night, melatonin increases. Melatonin aids the growth and repair of tissue by controlling the cell's ability to increase its oxygen content, which creates intercellular antioxidants. A melanin deficiency causes tissue to disrupt or rust, oxidize. Low melanin causes free radicals to damage tissue. Melatonin helps to control prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are a type of fatty acid found in the brain, pancreas, kidney, prostate, uterus, thymus, and lungs. Some prostaglandins are similar to oxidants, oxytocin, and can cause reproductive problems, which when melatonin is low because of emotional, spiritual, physical, or disease stressors. Stressors can activate cortisol and adrenaline. Yeah, this word is adrenocortical, hormone. And the scientific word for it is spelled Hydrocortisone, which suppresses the immunity. Okay, a suppressed immune system causes many diseases. Diseases have an effect on your mind, mood, and state of consciousness. Consciousness is a cultural element. The cultural educates a person to have awareness, and awareness gives consciousness. Cultures use music, clothes, foods, dance, textbooks, myths, stories, religion, folklore, folk tales, art, and science to create a society. The smallest unit of a society is the individual. The individual is the mirror of a culture. The culture gives a person a belief system, and beliefs give a person emotions. A reaction to your emotion is called a feeling. A feeling that lasts a long time is called a mood. In other words, feelings are based upon culture. Consequently, a black person that hears Chinese culture's music will not instantly get up and dance because they have no feelings for that music. There is no cultural connection. A black person that has been culturally castrated with post-traumatic slavery and or post-traumatic colonialism traumas will have a distorted consciousness. Added to this, a junk food under nutrition diet will decrease melanin, and this causes a decreased consciousness. A black person with undernutrition will have physical, social, and mental problems. They will probably need to take a melatonin supplement. Okay, it said melatonin supplement helps dopamine to calm the body and brain. Dopamine helps nerves to communicate with each other. It stimulates the hypothalamus, 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 and pituitary to release growth hormone GH. Dopamine is required for the ability to sleep, fat gain, and loss, sex drive, bone density, energy, the brain centers immunity and bodily motor control, helps antibodies make cortisol steroids, a hormone from the adrenal gland that influences digestion and helps the liver make stored sugar. Galaxin. Glycogen is glycogen helps the phytophthora tryptophan to make serotonin, increases oxygen absorption and life expectancy, helps alkaline the system, helps mental illness. The body will trigger melatonin because of noradrenaline, and this word is the scientific word for noradrenaline, Norepinephrine, Phrine, low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, and dopamine. Melatonin is released as a reaction to a disease, emotional, spiritual, social, or science crisis. A Caucasian science crisis is caused by faulty, distorted information that uses European theories, myths. The problem with understanding melanin is the sciences of Caucasians. Their sciences contains many myths called theories, and their science is white male centered. For example, their belief myth is in evolution is founded upon the idea that society was formed because men went away from home to hunt for animals. The facts are men, women, and children formed society. The hunting of animals in primitive societies is done with nets, large nets for elephants, small nets for rabbits, fish, etc. And nets are made by men, women, and children. Society was not built upon the basis that man went off hunting. Hunting is a family affair. The foundation of psychology is based upon the behavior of a man called Oedipus. Yeah, his name is spelled Oedipus. Is a boy in ancient Greek fairy tale myth that physically lusts for sex with his mother. So I never heard of this character here from this Greek mythology. He killed his father and his mother lust sexually for her son. Like I said, his name is spelled Oedipus, and married him. The use of this Caucasian psychology has distorted a black person's ability to think healthy and understand themselves. Psychology's root word is psyche. Psyche means butterfly. Butterfly has two wings. One wing represents good, and the other wing, evil. Consequently, good and evil are always at odds with each other. They are constantly fighting each other. If one moves, the other moves to counter at the other's movement. The wings moving is believed to make the mind think. Add to this belief is the belief that there are three divisions to the brain. There is ID, the animal brain, ego that fights to control the animal brain with the human brain, and superego, the mother and father of society that fights to control the ego human brain that is locked into a constant battle with the ID animal sexual lust brain. This Caucasian myth is the basis of their psychology, and for black people to use this myth to understand their mind or science presents too many problems. This myth points to the lack of ability of Caucasians to reach higher levels of thought and physical function. Okay, now it says Caucasians lack the genetic ability to produce catalyze significant levels of the heavy molecular weight melanin called eumelanin. That's our melanin. I was saying before, our melanin is called eumelanin. Eumelanin has its highest content in black people. Caucasians have a pseudo-melanin, pheomelanin. Their pseudo-melanin, pseudo equals not a true melanin, can cause their spirit, mind, and body to function below an optimal level, and cause them to tend to have many diseases and disorders of the spirit, mind, and body. Black people with the eumelanin can have the ability to manufacture and reproduce melanin by using sunlight, the amino acid tyrosine, the metal copper, and perhaps compounds that use oxygen peroxides as a free radical. The free radical use of oxygen allows it to break down substances. This is similar to using oxygen to break down metal. This gives black people many different improvisation ways to utilize the chemical melanin and utilize spirit, mind, and body. Okay, and that last part of this chapter was on page 31. Yeah, so this is amazing. It's amazing information. So, I definitely hope y'all enjoyed that chapter I just read. Chapter 3 of Melanin, What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Llaila Afrika. Yeah, that was some good, really good information. And yeah, and that chapter was Melanin, entitled Melanin Hormones, which started on page 16, but that was amazing. And that part of this book is, telling the differences between us who are called black people, so-called black, because like I said, y'all, we're copper tone people. We're copper tone people, carbon-based people. We have eumelanin. So if anybody ever says, oh, that black person, they really should say, if you want to go by color, they really should say that copper color person or the original person, and more so, copper color, because we're carbon-based beings. We're copper color people. Our skin is copper color. They're brown. We're brown people. And like I said, this book, in this chapter in particular, was just telling the difference between us who are called black, but we're really, like I said, copper color people, original people, and it also explained about who we call, so-called white, Caucasian people, because white and black are misnomers. Neither one of us are that particular word. It's just a label, So I definitely hope y'all enjoyed this third episode of the Eumelanin series with me reading from the book Melanin, What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Llaila Afrika. Hope you're learning a lot, and y'all definitely get this book. Let me show it again to y'all. If you want to learn the truth about us on a genetic and spiritual level, definitely get this book. It's a good read. I'm loving it, and I hope y'all enjoying this series. And I have episode 4 coming up soon. Just, rock out with me. Just wait on the 4th episode. I'll be dropping it in, the next few days or whatever. And that'll be the last video of this particular series. The last episode, episode 4 of the Eumelanin series, by me, Red Hawk, reading from Dr. Llaila Afrika's book, Melanin, What Makes Black People Black. So I hope y'all enjoy this video, and let me know what y'all think in the comment section. As always, appreciate all my subscribers, everybody who supports me. Thank y'all so much for y'all love, and y'all rocking out with me. I really appreciate it. And this is Red Hawk. Yeah, much love to y'all. One.